wanted to know about your college journey, as we have seen the college from our perspective is actually quite different from the perspective that you have. So college has not quite advanced, but things have changed a bit. So in that way.
So, my college journey in JC used to be more like I used to go to college to the whole thing that other people were doing, but I was also very much interesting in like I didn't feel enough. I didn't feel settled in my journey when I was in my early years of JC. So I would go do a couple of internships from IITs, triple IITs, go on publication conferences to like explore the research and stuff. And doing that, I got a little bit like, you know, um, I encountered machine learning and stuff way before in my second year, I assume. So that it wasn't a thing. Like the only thing I remember, like natural language processing and AI was the first course that I had, and that was in my final year. So we didn't have much, and like at that time, um, like we didn't used to have a lot of classes because of the placements. People were more into the placement and stuff. So that exposure of some advanced skills that are going to be in it. We didn't have robotics. We didn't have advanced courses. So to get that knowledge, you have to like I got a little bit outside and explore other places if I can something would intrigue me. So that was my journey. Like I wasn't very social. I used to do things here and there, but like I wasn't too social as other people. Yeah. Do you guys have anything specific that you want to know about my journey? Adding to it.
Actually, we for the first half basically we wanted to know about your basic
Some
knowledge, actually, and
thrilling
then
experiences are
yeah,
this. We want this session to be a kind of informal for our audience to just they should be they should be enjoying
they
this.
should
Yeah,
relate basically. Like we have some experiences that are we have bunked classes and we have done a lot of things, and it's like a sort of nostalgic memory when we look at that. So we were asking about that, but
Yeah,
moving
I think
further,
I did that.
yeah, sorry, yeah, continue.
So I did all the whole bunking class, like getting excited for freshers, farewell, and stuff like that. When I was in my first year, my second year was a little bit of like enjoying the college too. But I think after my second year, I got a little bit, like um, wanting more than just what the college was offering, and like just what the peer was doing. So yeah.
Okay, that's
so
very nice to hear, sir. Because as we see here, our juniors are quite more, basically, they are more directed, I would say. They are not directionless the way we were, and the way you explained, you were quite very well direction because you started so early, like in second year itself. So it's very fascinating for us to know because speaking of myself, I too pursue to study abroad, and I got all things sorted in my third year. I started in the last semester of my second year, but it was, let's just say, more of third year. What's yourself?
exactly we were not that much what should I say well direction and everything because there was lack of some sort of guidance and everything. But as we grew, lockdown strike and everything, so we just went to reach out for alumni and people like you who are well established in their career. So they particularly told us this is the way you should go for, this is the thing you should go for, these are the future aspects and everything. So
Right.
in that particular thing, we moved ahead and ahead. Here we are today.
So that actually we'll begin with the questionnaire. We have the question from the people. We released a form and they have filled the questions. And at the end of the session, prior 10 minutes, we'll have the questions from the live audience. And we can
Cool.
interact in between if they ask their questions. These
Sounds
guys
good.
will help us through that. Cool?
Cool.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Start, sir.
Uh, So what intrigued you into masters? Like, because you were in totally into a MP district, like in Madhya Pradesh, that was Jabalpur. So, like, what were the consequences that made you to move forward into the masters? That too from abroad.
Okay. So there's no probably like there's a lot of things like I just had a middle class dream of like moving abroad, seeing the life just outside of what I was seeing growing up as a kid, mixed with I was always like running into things. I love to like um, new learnings, trying to figure out things on my own and stuff like that. Um, like all that combined, like I felt like I do I need more time to, learn more stuff for myself. Um, so I have done the whole like sitting in the college placement, getting placements, up to the point where I had the offer and I was like, I made the decision that no, I don't want to go. And that's when I decided, okay, so I decided not to go and what's next for me. So like all these things put in together, I felt like it would be, I would want to go to abroad for my education.
That's a good lesson.
Trying to reconnect. Okay. Join. ओके कनेक्ट फिर से वही पासवर्ड है जल्दी कर पासवर्ड भेज जल्दी मेरे को व्हाट्सएप पे प्लीज अरे एक अच्छा वही है एक सेकेंड मैं इसलिए नहीं करता हूँ यार स्ट्रीम में लॉग ऑन ओके हाँ तो तेरी स्ट्रीम चल रही है कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है शिट 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 हाँ मैं खुद नहीं करना चाहता हूँ स्ट्रीम तेरे को क्या लग रहा है and join now.
To say is there's very much hard work and like people should be aware about it. You will see all the glamorous life happening on social media. Okay, once you go to some other country abroad, things will get figured out. There is no mantra like that. You have to be very much, doing things and working very hard on the way to achieve that lifestyle to go up there.
Okay, sure. That's quite basically, it's like it's not an easy road. You have to basically make your own path there. It's not just you have to walk on footsteps of some other people who are already there. Just you have to make your own path.
You can learn from your experience on the go. Like if you interact with seniors, it's always good to know, okay, what's coming.
Yes.
But that does not mean that the way they did things would be same as what will
Yes,
work for
exactly.
you. So you have to figure out your own style, your own way. Everyone is different. So good to know stuff, but you have to do your own. Like you have to have that extra limit of your own.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, what are the benefits of pursuing career abroad?
Okay. There's a lot of it. Like, first thing, what people want to see is what they see on social media, the glamorous lifestyle, driving Tesla, making six-figure salary. That would be one benefit I would say. The other thing would be good food. Like you get all kind of cuisines, not just Indian. You get like
Yes, yes.
um, Korean, Ethiopian. You can like any fancy thing you will see. Probably there's a chance that you'll find it in United States
So
as a
like,
country. I'm not.
as we are student, like as you were in the student, like right now you are well settled. But as I'm a big foodie for that. But the thing is, like I've seen people that they just go with the basic stuff they are cooking in their home. So are they a bit costly or like they are easy to manage with?
Yeah, things are definitely costly. If you try to eat outside, India is a place. Go street food. You have like 20 rupees in your pocket. You have 50. Depending on your budget, you will find food outside. If you come here, that's not the case. If you get a Subway, that's like $10. So like anything starts like that money. And especially when you're studying in college and you you are spending money that is like you earn in rupees and basically you spend it in dollars, it feels a lot. So there's something that you have to get used to. And if you don't know cooking, like learn cooking, so that would help you give you survival here. You'll save a lot of money if you're not cooking. I wasn't one of them, so don't take me.
So if we are not wrong, like we have seen that there are no chapatis and like traditional roti over there.
Yeah, so even until now, like I started cooking a little bit now, but you get frozen chapatis. But things might not be the same if you're figuring out, oh, I miss my mom's chapatis. It's not going to be the same as here. So there's definitely a disadvantage to it. uh,
That's only what we get from home. Like it's homely feeling. You
yeah,
can't
exactly,
compare it to any other food.
exactly.
Yes,
And you
yes.
cannot
So
be
like
like if you're living in Bangalore, if you're living somewhere else, you can still fly, come back
Yes.
home over the weekend and enjoy that food.
yes,
Coming abroad, that's not an option. You cannot. Each flight you take is like 30 hours, 40 hours of like one-time travel, and you don't want to do that, and that costs a lot of money too. So
exactly.
yeah,
So like I have seen in my peers that people are just practicing making gold rotis just because they are going abroad.
yeah, I should have done
But
that too.
Like
you won't believe my experience is like I live in a hostel in the front PG basically in Jabalpur only for college. And the quality of food that I have there is, matlab, they don't suffice the basically level of the food satisfactory. The food is not satisfactory actually. So whenever I come back home and just I have the usual stuff that my mother makes, it's like it's the best thing I ever have.
Yeah,
I'm like, I want this to just be on my menu all the time. I don't want that fancy Subway. I can't eat Subway all the day, all the time, but I just
Hello.
want my dal, roti, sabji, chawal. I just want these things on my plate at that
नहीं.
time. This is the least I want. It happens like that to me.
if you decide to come abroad, take
मैंने नहीं देखा, मैं
it's a
दो
long
स्ट्रीम
way,
मेंटेन कर
so
रहा हूँ, तो
you
लाइक अपने एंड
can't
से
you
देख
can't
ले.
go back to enjoy that food. What you could do
हो
closest
सकता है
is
रिकनेक्शन में
sometimes I'm
हुआ
on
हो.
call with my mom and she helps me cook, and then I enjoy the taste a little bit. Sometimes it feels like, oh mom, it tastes like your food. But that's the closest you can do. You have to do your own stuff here.
Okay.
so
I have to work on that then.
you were fortunate enough to be in that digital era because like 10 years before people
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
even have that video quality thing.
that is true.
So, sir, moving on. Next question. We have, how did you choose your course and how did you sort your universities?
Um, so I did the whole thing that people do, like go to a coaching institute and they're gonna give you a list of universities that you would go for. But like I mentioned, like it's not like you could. I think you could. So ASU was not on my list,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I had like some universities, but I could not imagine myself spending my money and everything in studying those universities. So what I did instead was I came up with my list.
Okay.
um, I wouldn't say like you should do the way I did because most of my applications were ambitious. Like I was like, I want to aim as high as I can. Like I don't want to be sorry to not have tried to big universities that I could have got admitted. Um, and I still remember. This is a time when I didn't know. Okay, you have to apply at least a year before if you
Yeah.
wanna fly. Okay, next year go study. So like I started pretty late. I was like, it was sometime in December. I was like, okay, yeah, now I'm done with my GRE and stuff, and then I have to, apply for universities. And I start looking up, and I see the deadlines are coming up as like 1st of December, 15th of
Yes.
December, January, and I was like, man, like I I missed so much. That there are some universities that I already have missed, you
Okay.
know. So my brother was really helpful. He was like, this is the time like I came back home, so no,
Great.
like I wasn't in the coaching institute that I used to be and stuff like that. So I didn't know, I didn't have anybody to write my SOP. I didn't have anything. But I still remember my brother was like, submit the application. If you submit it empty, I don't care. Like if you want to go, submit it, and we'll see. So I had like that was my worst draft of SOP I've ever written. That they
Okay.
I put a number. 40% of my universities were ambitious, 40% were challenging, and only 20% was safe. The reason I did that was again because the list I got was like mostly like easy, the ones I can get, and I just wanted to try more than that. So I started with a lot of UCs. I think I applied to at least four UCs: UCI, UC Riverside, all of them, Santa Cruz, all that stuff, and I got rejected from all of them. In my challenging list, it was Stony Brook, ASU. There was, let me see if I can remember. Um, what other things I had? I had University of Florida, Gainesville. There was one. So I had some like prestigious universities, but like I wouldn't have like MIT, Harvard, and all that stuff on the list because I was being realistic. Like if I had like huge renowned person in the industry, it would have been a different case. But because I had a research background, that gave me a little bit of the edge of like they have my international publications and stuff to like judge me on. Um, my safe list was I did UTD, University of Texas, Dallas. I had CSUs, California State Universities, and then I had University of Southern Carolina. And the reason I picked this last university was because they provide scholarships. So just in case if I, like I said, like I'm not a rich guy, like I don't come from a rich family. So like I wanted to have an option. Okay, yeah, if nothing works out and I still want to go, I should have that option. So I had that university on my list. It's not a renowned university, but it's something. And one thing I would tell people is it does not matter. Even that you're from Harvard, it does not guarantee your job. That cannot guarantee your job in the United States. Or if you're from a very bad university that has no reputation, you can still get into FANG. You can still go into Netflix, Facebook, whatever you can imagine. It's not the brand. It's not like India.
Okay.
Okay. And the second thing that would be there is no thing called college placements here in none of the university.
Okay.
So no companies like you have career fair, but basically the whole idea is you go show interest to the companies, you go reach them out, apply in the get in the pool of the applications that they get, and then if they like you, they're gonna come talk to you. So this is how it works. In India, it's more like okay, everyone has an equal chance to
Yeah.
write their written test and go into the interview and crack it. That gives you a little bit of disadvantage and an advantage. Advantage would be that you will at least have a job when you graduate in India from a university. Second is that is only controlled by the university. So if you don't get Amazon, if you don't get Microsoft, if you don't get Facebook, Netflix in your campus, that limits you. That those are the only companies you have exposure from, and that's when it comes you are from IIT or if you're from something, some big universities. Um, so both advantage and disadvantages of things, but like you have to be very proactive if you come here because you have to find your own job. Like I, I didn't imagine as like me not having so much of industry experience that I would end up into a Fortune 50 company. So that's the thing. Like you can, and like even someone who's not from a university can do it. It's just you have to have those skills and you have to be proactive. Like you have to be so much of, oh, what's next? Okay, how do you figure out stuff? And especially when you are an immigrant, you have not only just do that. There's a lot of other stuff that you have to do. You have to make sure, okay, yeah, my visa will expire in 2 years. So you have to start thinking today, okay, what's going to happen if my visa expires? I need to find a sponsor to, so I cannot go to these companies even though I could, So like there's a lot of things that you have to be always on your toes. Okay, what's next? What if this fails? What if that fail? And all that stuff. It's not a guaranteed path of like, okay, you will get a placement from your university. So that's one thing that people should know.
It's like you have to remain cautious of everything. You have to watch every step. If you take this, then what will be the consequences of that? It's like you
Yeah.
have to be very well versed with everything.
Yeah,
You
and one
have to
more
know all
thing.
the stuff. Immigration is also a complicated subject. And like you should know a lot of stuff. You have to educate yourself with everything to make sure that you are legal to be here. You are doing legal things while you are here. Different cultures. You have to do so much of be present to make sure that you keep yourself where you want to see yourself. You know, basically on track.
Okay, so
So like one more thing was like, if just uh, how did you like choose your course? Like because you were into computer science, and after that,
narrowed your stream to NLP, AI, or ML.
Yeah, so that comes basically from my internship experiences that I've had. There was a point in time when I was in Triple IT Hyderabad for my internship. I was, doing my summer NLP classes. I've never read about it, but I got to have that exposure. Once I got good at it, I was helping other people, teaching them people who are coming after and stuff like that. So and then even after I was graduated, I was working in the university. Like my major was on that. So whatever work I did in my summer, I tried to continue that in my minor project and major projects. Um, and I did a publication on college. So while I was in college, I was like, okay, yeah, I put people in my jury and stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's put this work to business, basically. So basically, yeah, that's a bit. If that answer your questions, of course.
yes,
Okay, so I'll actually make it back to the GRE section.
Mhm.
I would like to know that how did you scored well on your verbal section? How the people who are preparing for GRE, I'll just how will you just guide you about them for verbal, specifically about verbal,
Yeah.
because font section, speaking of myself and us of others, they are quite not, I would say, of mediocre level. They're not that
Mhm.
hard. They are just mediocre level. But talking about verbal, as we don't have that much of the not fluency but the way of speaking, we don't have that much, so we are not exposed to that. So what will you advise to your fellow juniors on verbal?
That's a good question. That's a good question because people have usually Indians have an edge of mathematics. We are good in math. So that's usually when it comes to GRE, we find it a little bit easier than other people writing GRE in different countries. What comes at it is verbal. Okay, when it comes to verbal, we are not as good because of our whole like all that we have exposure from English is either movies or songs or stuff like that. Um, so because it's not our first language, so I would say like counter that because other countries have that much better than us. Like someone from Australia, someone from England, whoever's Canada, they are writing the GRE. They have the edge over the verbal. Um, so I would say work on your comprehension. A lot of people get stuck in vocab, and you can only do enough with vocab. Like if you know all the things in the world and you write your GRE, that does not guarantee that you will got all the answers right because you didn't work on the comprehension. You could not read under the lines what the essay was trying to tell you, what your question was trying to tell you. And I used to take a lot of time. I wasn't as good, so probably I'm not the best person to give you advice on verbal. But of whatever I have discovered, I got better at it. Is I did a lot of comprehension practice. Whenever I see a vocab word, I forget about it and try to see if I can still guess what they're trying to say. So if I get that vocab does not matter. It doesn't matter. In some cases, when you have I don't know what they used to call it, but it's a filling the blank and fill the word and stuff like that. That sometimes goes around knowing a little bit of vocab, because now you cannot skip the word and just to comprehend the meaning, because you have to pick from those words.
Yes, exactly.
So those things I encountered a little bit with, gradually while you work on your comprehension, work on the essential words, because you cannot have enough. So I would say, for example, you see a fill in the blank, something like that. I think they call it text completion. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yes,
if you
yes.
see a if you see a text completion sentence, and you see an option says all the vocab words that and you only knew half of them, there are chances that the answer would be from half of those, and the reason being is, they know that you cannot know all the vocab words. They only put it there to psychologically trap you. Uh, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I think the answer should be somewhere, somewhat this one, but because I don't know the other two or three options, I'm a little bit skeptical. And you would freak out, you would panic, and that's what they trick you on. Even math, they try to trick you on things that are obvious. They would put it out there, and when you give a second thought, you'll be like, "Oh, I see what they're talking about." So I would say, just work on your comprehension more than just the vocab.
Yes, yes. One thing, Asta, like I realized, like we have seen so many webinars and everything about GRE and this stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Sir told us a very specific way that there are no placements that rise in that
It's
any
actually
college.
that is actually quite a just very lightning point that we never knew about.
Exactly.
For me, I was like there are placements, not direct placement, but I also had that one question that the international students do not have an edge over there. Is it something like that?
Yeah, yeah. So let me tell you this. This is the
Uh,
first thing you heard, and there are a lot of similar things like this you do not know. And when you come here, you will realize, oh, I wish I knew all that stuff to be, knowing what to do. Because sometimes you'll end up in situations like literally you would not know what to do. What's my next step is. So
uh-huh.
having all those things, that's why I've been thinking of putting on a YouTube channel to talk about just like the life in USA, and things that you would wanna know before you come here, or even after you come here. These things are gonna give you, help you, and all those stuff. Because
Exposure,
what
basically.
yeah, having the exposure and having the right knowledge, so you act smarter in the future. Because whatever I have seen on internet, I see people talking about GRE, hacking this, hacking that, but no one gives you, people think okay, once you give your GRE, it's done. Okay, once you apply for university, it's done. The real struggle comes when you come here, and a lot of stuff you don't know, and people don't talk about it because they are themselves busy in figuring out their
More
years
like
and uh, yeah, exactly, their life, their years in college, so they don't have enough time to talk about them. And even in general, because you are an immigrant, and you always have that edge, that you have to be better at your job, because they could always find a replacement who is someone from here, and they would have less trouble with any of this. So you always have to be like, no, I have to give 100% of this. I have to be better than everybody else at what I'm doing, to have that edge of why would they pick you than all the other Americans out here. So there are a lot of things I promise you that you don't know. And that's what I think you guys will find a link of my YouTube channel, and that's what I'm trying to start at, giving people you know stuff to think about, basically a lot of things that they don't know about. Maybe they could this would help them to know a little bit better and of what they know. Oh
Actually,
yeah, and to answer
yes,
your
sir.
question, yes, there is always a thing about an American applying for a job and an international person applying for a job. Number one thing, I would be like startups. You wouldn't find most of the startups hiring international people because they don't know how to do the paperwork or the immigration stuff. So people hit for bigger companies, because bigger companies have that dedicated law firm that makes sure that can um, that will they'll figure it out for you. They have that control. And sometimes just in general, it's not a thing, but um they have the strong support to support you legally when it comes to immigration. But think about it, like if you have a similar qualified person who is American and who is international, a lot of as an immigrant, when you apply to 1,000 jobs, the jobs that you hear back from are far less than someone who is American. Straight up, like there has been instances on anybody that has ever applied for jobs here in US. You will hear this experience where they would call you and indirectly try to ask you if you need a visa sponsorship to continue this. And when they say that, they are gone. Whatever they say, they ghost you. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, we'll get in touch on Monday or something, and they're gone. They will never get back to you. So that's why I said like you have to be really good at what you're doing to have that edge of like, okay, yeah, like no other American can do this job that this guy can do, and that's why they want to put all their money, legal money, and everything in you to keep you there.
Okay, so it's like you have to be quietly very aware of the red flags that might be there.
Right, right. So like always be ready for disappointments. If you see not hearing it from companies, don't be disappointed. You know that's a case. So keep going, like keep working forward. Something will work out for you if you put your enough efforts into it.
Also, sir, like we would like love to see photos, some of your photos, if you have any, like of your college life or your JEC or like in AAC, like
I'm
that would
not
be
I'm not
much.
much of a I'm not much of a photo person myself. Like I like to be behind the camera, like I'm getting into whole filmmaking and stuff like that. But like I'm the person behind the stuff. So far, okay. So I
Yes, I
have
was
been at
about to
several
add. It will be
events.
great to see you on screen in front of
Exactly, sir. Like
that guy
you
who's not
can
at back.
share this screen if you want. Like if you have any stuff right now on the PC,
I don't know.
that will be
Well,
a
I can
throwback
add.
to.
Can share.
Maybe I can add something. Alex, do you have that picture from the brochure over there? Yeah, yes, yes. Can you read it? I can figure out something if I have it here. So I was in the international events and they have me. So ASU has me as the international face. So everyone who gets an admit from ASU get this brochure of welcome, and that has a picture of me in it. So yeah, I have been into events and stuff, doing
Yes,
stuff,
sir.
but like me personally, I'm always behind the camera most of the times.
And so like we
So
have
this
seen like
is
okay,
this is usually what you get, and this is me. I don't know if you guys can figure me out.
Okay,
that's great,
So
sir.
if that helps. Yeah.
okay, sir.
And so
So the
like
last question is just what I just want you to lay a layout for the complete journey, just the outlines for students who will be going abroad, just from the scratch to
Like
the
complete journey to come here to US or complete journey of life. Those are two different things.
actually you both. I would say I would love to know both, so you can just tell us about that.
Well, for GREs, like you have to write your GRE exam, you have to have your English exam, TOEFL, or something like that. They have other ones too. Write the SOP, get the LORs, apply to university, get an admit, come here. Um, Very much try to read your curriculum so you know you're on the point. If there are any requirements that you need to do to complete your degree, you have to do that. You have to think about funding. Okay, once I get the admit, okay, what's the next step? Where's the money gonna come from? Where's the stuff like how much time do I have and stuff like that. Um, you have to keep thinking along the go on that. When you fly here, you have to make sure about some travel restrictions, like you don't want to carry any seeds, any life, something, no liquid, stuff like that. Basically, anything that's going to put you in trouble. If there is anything, something that you are bringing, you should, you shouldn't be, you have to declare that in custom, stuff like that. Once you get here, how you going to get to the university, how you going to get a phone card, SIM phone card, how you gonna find a place to live, um, and what your schedule is going to look like, how you're going to go to your classroom every day and come back. And yeah, like while you're doing that, you have to figure out about the internship, you have to figure out about the full-time job, you have to figure out about your immigration stuff. One sec. There's going to be a lot of talking basically. But you have a once you graduate, you get a job. Um, you keep working on your job, get better at what you're doing. One thing that I would say is like the work culture is better than what there is in India. I'm not talking like I'm only talking general. I'm not getting into like okay, yeah, I'm saying it for 100%. I'm just like generally speaking that like you will have more value for your skill, more respect for your skills or when you come here. Like I work on the artificial intelligence team for State Farm. Like so like growing in that, having promotions, stuff like that. If you keep working, you will generally have a better experience of working than you might have it in India. I don't have a lot of industrial experience again, but I'm generally speaking of what I've heard from people. Okay, so yeah.
And what's your life mantra? What do you believe in?
Nothing. Just if you want to do something, just do it. Like life is too short, but also make sure that you have you have thought through other stuff too. You know, just in case if it doesn't. Like basically, if you have like thought it through, you do whatever you think is best. Like don't get into it. It's not like if some person cannot do it or it's too difficult, you cannot do it. That's how people get better. Like do it. It doesn't matter.
By taking action. That's it. You have to move
Yeah,
forward.
like
You have to take action.
you need to know your progress. Like you should know. Okay, yeah, if I've decided to do this, this is how I'm seeing myself in a couple of weeks or couple of months, couple of years. A little bit of having a rough idea at least what to do next. Because if you don't know what to do next, is when you're stagnant. You don't move forward. Yeah, I'm
Did you
not
procrastinate on your journey?
huh?
Did you procrastinate on your journey till here?
Yeah, I have done that. Like I said, like I didn't know what to do, honestly. There were points in my time where honestly I didn't know what to do. And that's what gave me the importance of being proactive and getting things done. Like, I always go, like, if I want something, I'll get desperate of like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. And trying to, like things work out like in the end, like you'll always have your life worked out, you know, in the end, like even if like you are not, you don't have like everybody has different journey, but like you have luck, you have your hard work, you have your interest and being good at something. Everybody is different. Like two people put them together, they have different skill sets. Like even if they don't know it, you figure it out in the life that okay, this is what interests you. And like sometimes there are chances times where just being in the undergrad, you don't know why you are here. Because this was the best thing you thought, and you were here. Now you figure out, okay, I don't want to do engineering anymore. If I want to do something else, so like you basically like want to figure it out. You will figure out at some point of time, okay, this is what I'm interested towards, and this is what I want to do and how I want to do. So things will work out always.
Okay, that's very nice move because I do
Exactly.
procrastinate a lot. Actually, we have a group of we have a group of a lot of guys. We are in our pre-final year, so
Exactly.
there was a time when we were proactive, literally proactive. We did multiple internships, we did multiple courses, but there was a time when we were like all just too lazy to even get up and get on our computers and just even type a code. And then that place literally haunts us till now. If we ever find us doing again, like we procrastination, it basically happens when we are not progressing. We are not getting our results. So we're like, we just stop there, and it just gets frustrating at level one, then it's level two, then it's level three. Like, just keep it up.
Yeah. I mean, but one thing to learn always is when you hit your low, you know where you don't want to be, and you will do everything to not get there. So you try different things in life, and you realize, okay, this is not for me, and then you move on. it's the same thing. Like there would be times when you hit a low, you don't know what to do, you don't know why you have to wake up tomorrow and go to work or like open your computer and try to do something productive. But after a few days, you have that frustration build up, and then you would want to be like, oh yeah, I know that I don't want to do this. I don't know what else to do, but I don't want to do this, so I'll figure out something else to do. So it's like basically trial and error.
That was a very nice takeaway, I would
Exactly.
say. That was a key takeaway from the thing you said. I would actually apply that because I procrastinate a lot. I just keep that in my mind that I don't
I
want
do
to
that
do
too.
that. So I like this other thing.
Even
I
if
do
I
that too.
think,
I don't have
sir,
my laundry figured out sometimes. A lot of times.
sir was at that time like when Oriole was organized in 2016, right?
Yes, yes, it was
um,
2016
So,
cultural
so
fest.
yes, sir. So you were a part of that or not?
what's
You,
that?
sir, Oriole, the cultural fest of a college.
Oh, I think yeah, I know. Is it the music festival or something like that?
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, it's
exactly.
Oh
that.
yeah, I think it just got started and they started bringing people.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just like I don't think I have the chance to go into it. But I've heard it's good stuff. So yeah,
Yes,
someday when I come back, you guys can take me there.
definitely, sir.
That would be nice.
So actually, previous year we were trying to organize that next edition of that only, but then Corona struck, so we have to cancel all our
Yes, yes.
sponsors and give everything was just shattered. We were very
What is
In,
this?
pumped up that we'll
we
do.
invited very prominent people in that particular fest. Like, Asam, who were that guest of
We
that?
invited for there was a session of poetry. For that, we
Yeah,
had invited Lalwani Sir.
Mahathir, exactly.
Oh, okay. He's from
Yeah,
Indore. That's where I'm from. So good
Yes,
stuff.
and the
Then
musician was also like a singer,
Gajendra, one
Kachin
whatever
Yadav.
it is.
okay,
Yes,
you
yes.
guys got money, huh?
So we took around like
I should.
2 to 2.5 lakh from the local market itself. We were heading
Okay.
the sponsorship department at that particular time.
Okay.
We were
Next
in the
time
third semester.
We were
next time
really
my
pumped
sessions
up,
are
sir,
done.
and as soon as we just knew that the event couldn't happen, we were in so much agony that why we put all these efforts, and that's the result we get.
It's good. Your money can go somewhere else. So, like next time our sessions are not free.
Also,
Just
sir,
kidding.
before this getting into the live Q&A session, I just want quite a few feedback regarding our society, like JLUG, JC. We have been interacting since
Mhm.
that particular time. So, like, what should we add on our society, and what's the things you like amongst us? Like,
Your advice.
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't been closely connected, so I don't think I have anything
Okay,
to
we'll
add
ask
to
this
it. But
question
someday.
in next episode. We'll
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
catch with you till then. So we'll ask this question in our next episode with you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, when Sir will start his YouTube channel.
Yeah, by
exactly.
then you'll be having your channel also.
Nikhil, why don't you